Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Yes. Welcome all my friends to the podcast called Couch Pilots. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, aka the Black Botanist, and across from me is as a garden of friendship. His name is Captain Philip Russisher. Evening, Captain.
You know, every Monday, I look forward to hearing your intro.
Right.
It's amazing.
It's soothing. You're a bit of a high-strung guy sometimes. It probably helps to calm you, right? You got a tough weekend.
It does. A lot of times on Mondays, I'm having a bad day at work, usually because it's Monday.
Got a case of the Mondays.
Got a case, just like Garfield.
Right.
we were having a conversation about Garfield and the case of the Mondays this weekend. But, no, and I just keep plugging through going, you know what? Jason will be here in a couple of hours. Just fight through this bullshit.
Got that intro coming. I'm looking forward to it. He's gonna call. It's like you know, got a cat heavy theme here. You're petting a cat. It starts to purr. It's relaxing. That's kind of just like that. And that's happening to you right now. I can.
Have you ever had a cat do the little paw pushing thing on your stomach?
Yeah, sometimes.
I fucking hate that.
My mom's cat will come up to me and it'll put its forehead on my chin.
Aw.
And then it'll just lay there and cover me in hair.
Because it lavas you.
Yeah.
I had 3 cats when I was young, and when the 3 of them died, I was like, you know what? I'm now anti-cat.
Why is that? Just the stomach padding?
No, that and them taking their picture all the time with their butthole, and you know they pull it.
Wait. You say taking their picture all the time?
Taking our picture all the time with their buttholes.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah, when they turn around and they put their tail up, and all you see is their sphincter. And the Polaroid comes out their mouth. They're such small Polaroids.
They're such small buttholes. It's so disgusting. I don't want to see that.
It's like somebody stuck a lemon in their buttholes.
Oh, I'll pucker it up.
Did you see that giraffe have its baby?
Yeah, there's a woman at work who was following it, and I sent her something. I said, hey, Beth, it's happening. And I saw a picture. There's just a couple legs hanging out of its hoo-ha for an hour.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw it live.
How long did it take?
8:55 a.m. You know what? Once... You know, there was, like I said, there was some legs sticking out of her hoo-ha for a while.
Right.
But once she poked that head out, I mean, then gravity took over and the whole thing went, you know.
I was gonna say it's like a water balloon just breaking
and you know, when you're watching the video, like the giraffe looks really small compared to her, right? But then they showed a picture the next day of like all the vet guys standing next to it, and it's like 6 foot tall.
Good God.
You got a 6 foot tall baby in your belly.
And that really was, I think, the highlight for a lot of people's weekend, and maybe even your weekend, too, because you had mentioned you kind of had a rough weekend.
I had a rough weekend.
Yeah.
It started off great. Like I said, I got off early Friday. For Good Friday, I got off early.
Oh, good.
My wife came home from a vacation.
It was nice to have her back.
I had sex.
Nice.
And then I went and picked up my son.
Had sex?
No. Who I hadn't seen in a month because he went on vacation, too.
Right.
You know, and then Saturday morning, you know, the miracle of life happened. Great, right?
Yeah.
Saturday night, we go to Gill's.
Love Gill's Supper Club.
Oh, so I'm like, this is the bomb weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 10:30 at night, the dog rips its toenail.
Oh, God.
And not just rips it like normal person would. You know, like, this is like serious issue.
Rips it real good.
Rips it real good.
The show is built on the back of his songs.
And so I had to take her to the emergency room.
Yeah, that'll happen, right? Sucks. Happened to me once.
What do you mean? You don't have any pets?
I don't have any toenails either.
That's one of the things I like about you. You don't have any toenails whatsoever. I'm like, this guy can wear sandals and not worry about debris at all.
That's the main concern, I think, when people are wearing sandals. Is like, how am I going to avoid all the debris?
My second ex-wife had like one toe had this toe fungus thing, and she had a funky ass gross nail for the longest time. It was just one nail, and it was some kind of fungus. You know what I mean? It was so gross.
It sounds gross.
Well, then, she started to go work out after she had the baby, and she got herself fit, and then she went to the doctor and got this medicine that cleared it all up, and then she left me and went to go fuck another guy.
That'll happen, my friend. You got to keep them fat and ugly. That's what I always say.
Yep.
But no, one time I had a neighbor, and they said, come watch my dog, and I'll give you some money. You'll be paid handsomely.
Ooh.
And I said, I'm very poor. I would like to have some money. And because they had a regular person that couldn't make it. So they said the only caveat is you have to spend the night because the dog gets up at like 4 a.m. So you have to sleep in our house. I was like, it's okay, fine.
For the right price. I'll do anything for the right price.
Absolutely. Just give me a number. Give me a starting point.
You pass me that piece of paper, I'll slide it back with my number on it.
That's right.
Makes complete sense.
So I do it. And the first night, they say, now watch out because it's got a toenail problem. I say, if it's all bandaged up, it should be good to go. But it injured its toenail. And I brought my daughter over there for a little bit, who was like 4 at the time. And I'll be goddamn if this dog's nail doesn't bust open, starts bleeding all over the house. And my daughter remembers it to this day.
It was a very traumatic time for her.
It was. Like, she didn't understand what all the red was. She didn't know it was blood. She couldn't, like, conceptualize it. But
red wine.
I played that song, UB40. I was like, I know you have UB40's greatest hits. Let's get it out. And that I think it helped her.
Isn't that their only hit?
Yeah, their greatest hits is just that song 10 times.
10 times.
But then I also, during that same dog sitting experience, I slept on their couch. And then on the last day, I go to take a shower. I shower every day, but on the last day I went to take one, and I had flea bites all over my body. I had contracted fleas
from that dog.
Yes,
fuck that dog. That's gross.
The price was way off at that point. They should have been giving me much more money.
Yeah, you should have when they come back, because they're like, listen, I need combat pay.
Right.
Like the military.
I've had some what is that? Casualties. I'm a casualty of war.
I'm a POW. Your dog's fleas made me a prisoner of war. That's not funny.
My God. It's nothing's funny about that. And you know something else that kind of is funny?
Hashtag North Korea. I was super excited.
About their nuclear test?
Yeah, I was super excited because guys have been talking at work about Saturday. I'm like, I'm going to see a giraffe born and fucking something blown up.
Yeah.
And only one happened.
I'm sorry.
But my dog's toenail blew up.
Gross. No, but that's kind of a bummer. And another thing is, it started off good. Here's spring. Here's the beautiful flowers. The foliage is blooming. But my circadian rhythm is off. I can't. Am I sleeping? The days are longer, which I like.
You should be in the groove by now.
I would think so, but I think I have seasonal erectional disorder.
Ooh, I hate that.
Usually, it's like night falls, my blood starts boiling.
Yep, boner comes up. Yep.
Boner, sun goes down, boner comes up.
A lot like the way we fly.
That's right. We're on the ground, then as soon as we get in the air, boner goes up. But I could only get an erection at night. Now these days are getting longer, so my erections are getting shorter.
Right, and then you have to find exactly the length of time is shorter. But then you have to find a woman that only wants to have sex at night. A lot of times you find like girls like, ooh, let's have sex during the day, and you can't do that.
I would love to do that, but this seasonal erectional disorder is really, for lack of a better word, fucked me up.
Hashtag
no bone. I don't know about you. I don't know if this affects you at all, but it's kind of been a bummer for me lately.
I get a boner. I've got it because I'm older than you. I'm a few years older than you, 6 years.
Yeah,
we'll find that out later on. Mm-hmm. But I'm 6 years older than you, and so at this point, like I only get a boner on like command. Like I never like just wake up and like boing. Like I have to go. Okay, I'm going to lay down in my bed. I'm going to hamster. I'm going to get a boner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no just like it's
no more surprise boners. Only boners on command.
Exactly. Right? No more surprise boners. I haven't had a surprise boner in years. But you know what? It's good for scheduling.
It is. Command boners are great. You can pencil it in and know that at this time when I circle 2:00,
right?
Boner goes up.
I'm gonna have that boner at 3:30 in the afternoon during the weekdays, and it's gonna be gone by 4 because Molly will get home at 4:15.
That's right.
So
you got to make hay while the sun shines, right? Unlike me, where I can do nothing when the sun shines.
Right. You're like, I just want it to get dark in here.
Just like Houdini said, the freaks come out at night, right?
Do you put like a blanket up over your window so you can trick your dick? We have so many show titles, but we just have to use The Adventures of Superpup.
Yeah, I'm always trying to pull a fast one over my penis, and rarely it knows. That fucking cock's smarter than me, man.
It's cock strong.
It is.
Can you open this for me?
Sure. All right. Today we have a little bit of fan feedback too. Is that right?
I got some.
Don't get me wrong. This could turn into the boner cast, and we could talk all day about the ebb and flow of my penis meat. But
ebb and flow of Jason's penis. That's actually the best Pearl Jam song ever. Is that amazing? What has happened with that?
This can of Miller Lite is under extreme pressure.
I don't know what's going on.
I can't do it. I think I'm too weak.
That's weird,
no,
isn't
it's
it?
happening. It's happening.
Nice. Put it on. High five that shit.
There you go, buddy.
Thanks.
Oh, Christ. Yes.
I'm pushing you.
All right. Let's
sit back and relax because this one's a
This
doozy.
is a voicemail.
This is a doozy.
Anyone can call this number. The person you're about to hear, I think it's Tyler, right?
Yes.
And I've never met Tyler. I never listen to these voicemails before they come through. I'm always excited to hear what they have to say. But anyone can call this number. It's 910-PILOTS-1. Call us in the middle of the night, 910-745-6871. Leave us a voicemail. There's no quicker way to accumulate frequent flyer points for surprise prizes, signed aviator glasses, a trip on the plane. Tyler's going to rack them up. I'm going to hear the cha-ching in the back of my head the entire time his voicemail's going.
It's 2 minutes and 59 seconds of,
Holy cow.
of constant hilarity. Seriously, when I saw it, I was like, oh, man, two, almost 3 minutes long. I was like, oh, man. But Tyler never lets us down.
Hey, guys, this is Tyler. Sorry it's been a while since I sent some fan feedback. Been a while. But anyway, truth is, I've been caught up in my fan fiction, writing stuff and having to rewrite it. I'm having to rewrite a lot because every time I get into a story, I'll furiously masturbate and just ruin the whole story. I need to look into getting some waterproof paper and waterproof ink, or I guess cum-proof. Anyways, just wanted to talk about how proud I am that sodomy is sweeping the nation from sea to shining sea. I heard on Genesis 2 episode where Conrad put it in text format. Didn't even know that was possible, but it happened. The only problem I have is on the farm episode when we were talking about the Rube Goldberg machine. Side note on that, the Rube Goldberg machine was actually invented by Rube Goldberg as basically an application for Gentiles to have children. And the thing was, he wanted, it to be so difficult to reveal the gender of your child that Gentiles wouldn't be able to reproduce. Anyways, that's just another story the Jews trying to keep us down. But, anyways, Captain Phillip, rest assured, what the fuck? You had the perfect opportunity talking about the Rube Goldberg machine. So just to avoid that, just come in her butt. I'm sitting there listening, and I expect to hear a sodomy, but no, I don't hear it. It's almost unforgivable. So, if Conrad can put it in text format, and you have such a great setup, come on, guy. Anyways, hope the diaper party goes good for DSJ. Hope he's doing fine. And sorry to hear about his wife, but hey, he's got a baby, so fuck it. Anyways, that's what I got going on.
I love that.
I guess that's going to be my fucking catchphrase. That's my get her done. Anyways, guys, have a good one. Keep going. Keep flying safe.
Amazing. That guy is amazing. That's all you can say. I listened to that. This is the fourth time I've listened to it. Okay. And every time I seriously want to piss my pants laughing. This is a guy who not only listens to the show, but he listens close enough that he sees where I fuck up.
Right.
Where I have an opportunity for a sodomy.
And you blew it.
And I blew it. I blew my load because it was daylight outside.
That's right. Wait till that sun goes down to blow the load. So much to respond to there. Masturbating to his own how good does your fan fiction have to be to where you can get off from it? I can't wait to read what he's come up with.
Oh, I can't wait either. And I can't wait for him to send it to us. I hope he sends it to us in PDF form.
Right. I love a good PDF file.
PDF. Not near as funny. No, but this is. Thank you, Tyler, for taking the time. And like I said, it's not just listen to the show. It's really good. It was really detailed and in depth, and like
the dude gets in it.
He gets in it.
He's waist in.
He's in it to win it.
And then this is my favorite part of the whole thing. I think is where he referenced Conrad saying sodomy. Sure. Just the interaction between the frequent flyers is incredible.
One lives in Folsom, California. Yeah. One lives in Mississippi.
There's no chance they would ever meet.
Never. They would never run in the same circle.
No.
Except for their interaction. Couch Pilots, thank you very much. Tyler, I didn't discuss this with Jason prior to 2 million.
What?
Frequent flyer points.
Oh, my God. Ooh, he has given Dustin from the Drunken Lullabies podcast a run for his money when it comes to frequent flyer points, I'll tell you that.
And I love his tagline. That's all I got going on.
That's what I got going on. I love it. To me, it trivializes everything he just said. As wild and as fucked up as it was, he kind of wraps it up with, like, that's it. That's all I got. That's quite a bit you got going on.
I'm just hanging out. So let's give him a sodomy. 1, 2, 3. Sodomy. Good job, Tyler. We really appreciate it. Folks, call in. Be part of the show. It's
just like Tyler. I tell you what, that dude's getting some signed aviator glasses. I tell you that much.
For sure. He didn't send me his address from the last time. So if he sends me his address, we'll send him a signed copy of show notes for whatever show he wants, and then aviator glasses.
What a humble man he is. He you know he's listening. You know he's heard our request for his address to send him out, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't cash it in.
Yeah, he's like a mysterious.
He's like an anonymous donor. He's like the Santa Claus at Christmas that hands $100 bills to people on the street.
Or an Easter bunny.
Exactly. That's more time sensitive. Yes. Yeah. Just what an incredible guy. I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that he was donating his frequent flyer points to a charity.
You know what? He is that good of a guy, and like I've been toying with the idea of setting up a Patreon page,
right?
And I can see him donating $5 a month.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Maybe. I hope so. That didn't work at all.
Do it again. I'm ready now.
There it is.
Nope.
Not working. It worked earlier. I don't know. That's it.
Oh, I know why. Hold on. Stop for a second.
All right.
Stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. I look funny.
That's
but y'all are making money, so your world, I hope you're ready for me, so gather round. I'm the new fool in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
You know what? That's what happens when you podcast from an airplane.
Technical difficulties?
But you know what? How do we deal with it? We just went with it. We went ba-ba-ba-ba. We didn't miss out.
You start rapping. That's how you fix up most problems as far as I'm concerned.
Whenever, and here's just a podcast tip for everybody. If you're having issues, just digital underground that shit.
Hell yeah. I would have gone Humpty Dance.
Sex packets, $1 or $2. Just tell me how many for you this time. Doo-doo.
Is that Humpty Hump?
Oh, that's Digital Underground. That's called Sex Packets, which was the name of the album.
Boarding. We're boarding the plane.
We're boarding. I'm sorry. I digress.
No, it's fine. Plane go up. Talk failed TV pilot. Plane go down. That's it.
On its own free will, not just like down like a crash.
Right. No, yeah. We have full control.
Right.
Today we discussed a pilot episode of The Adventures of Superpup from the year of our Lord 1958. Great year.
I have no idea if that was a great year.
Well, I'm telling you it was a great year.
Okay, because you have information that I don't have, and I understand that.
It's kind of like dealing with women. Personally, I don't have a lot of self-esteem.
Why?
A variety of reasons.
You're a pilot.
Right.
You're funny. You're handsome.
I agree.
You're not overweight,
Well,
noticeably.
Okay. I carry it well.
Yeah, there you go. You carry it well. I've heard that you have a nice penis.
Okay.
Why do you have low self-esteem with women?
I'm not. That's not. I'm just. Listen,
okay.
you're veering off course. If you want to dig into my psyche after the show, we can. I'm just saying that you have to come off as confident if you want to attract the opposite sex, right? And so every time I tell you what year it is, I have to confidently say after that, great year. All right?
Okay.
I want to convey to you and the listening audience that the year in which this pilot came out was a great year.
Do you think we have any listeners that were alive in 1953?
I'm not honestly, I'm not sure if anyone was alive in that year. It was 58.
Oh, okay.
1950. I don't know if anyone was alive in 1958.
58.
Thank you. But let's go back in time. Let's think about 1958 and travel back to that year and put our minds in 1958 so we can properly understand this pilot in which the context that it was created. Does that sound good to you?
It does. 1975 was when I was born.
Right.
1958.
Right.
So I was negative 17. So I could negatively drive.
Yeah, and I was negative 23.
Gee whiz, you could negatively drink.
Negatively. What happened in 1958? NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, is formed.
Wow. So this pilot came out the year that NASA was introduced?
Yes.
Wow.
Incredible, right?
You know what? It just changed my score.
No, it did not. You got a NASA bump?
It just changed my score.
You have an aeronautics bump? NASA, sending things into outer space since 1958.
Monkeys, people, women,
Hamsters.
teachers, hamsters, worms.
Sally Ride, Sally Ride.
Ride, Sally, ride.
Love NASA, right?
Oh, I love it. I don't know why we don't do more NASA.
Remember Apollo 13?
Tom Hanks, amazing.
Right. All those dudes, they all wore the button-up shirts with the white shirts, and they had the short sleeves and the ties. They all looked like a bunch of nerds. They were getting it done. They were sending people to the moon in the 60s.
The moon.
The final frontier, right? Made of cheese.
Now, are you one of those people that believe in conspiracy theories?
I believe in all of them. I feel like there is a conspiracy theory out there to make me not believe in conspiracy theories, so I believe in all of them as like a gut reaction.
My mind just got blown. I had to take my headphones off.
Holy cow. How about you? Are you a conspiracy theorist guy?
Yes.
Okay, what's the biggest one?
I don't think we landed on the moon.
Oh, no? Why not?
Because, first of all, why would we just go there once?
Remember when MTV went to the moon?
That was a graphic.
I know, it's graphically awesome.
I don't see how a flag can wave where there's no gravity. The shadows were wrong. I believe that was I believe it was all set up
by who? Kubrick,
the government, because we wanted to outshine the commies.
But who shot it though? Was it Stanley Kubrick?
Mm-hmm.
It was Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, it was. He even referenced it, didn't he? In like an interview or in a movie.
And I think
Shining.
People say that he hinted at it in The Shining. So you think Stanley Kubrick faked it?
High five that shit.
But I mean, eventually we did make it, though. Do you think we were just faking it till we
just
made
went
it?
one time? We just landed one time on the moon. We did not land on the moon more than one time.
Why, was something up there so terrifying that we had to hightail it out of there?
There's nothing.
Moon people.
Moon people.
Do you think there were moon people up there?
I don't think so. I think it's just dust.
So why not go back? What's there to be scared of?
Why spend the money to go there when there's nothing there to look at?
You collect moon dust?
In Mars, I mean, at least there's water.
I guess. I would love to go to the moon.
Oh, I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't go, Jason. I would never say that I would not go to the moon. I'm just saying we have not gone there yet.
One of my wildest fantasies is to own the house across the street from my house so I can see what my house looks like from across the street. The same principle applies. I'd love to be on the moon to see what the Earth looks like for the moon.
Here's the thing. Think about this,
All
okay?
right.
We supposedly, quote-unquote, landed on the moon, right?
Yeah.
We've passed all these other planets and just took pictures.
Sure.
Why not land on it?
Do it. Just a satellite, right? Like
satellites don't from my eyes.
Is built on the back of these songs. That's really good, Dave Matthews.
Thanks.
Some planets are like just gas, and like I don't think we have. Some planets are just a bunch of fucking farts.
Stinky Pinky.
Is that Dave Matthews again?
I want to roll.
14.
This might be the greatest night I've ever had in my life. Thanks to Tyler.
Wait till the sun goes down. 14-year-old Bobby Fischer wins the United States Chess Championship.
And then he disappears, right?
And then we ever since then we've been searching for Bobby Fischer.
Right. He disappeared, and then all of a sudden he was like 45 and like shows up.
Then he reappeared.
Like a magician. 14 years old. You can play chess. Whatever.
Wins the United States Championship.
Against a Russian? Oh, no. He hasn't even done the...
No. At 14, he says, anyone born at any time before or after me, I will beat. And he did do that.
When does he do the go up against the Russian?
Oh, we haven't done that pilot yet.
Rocky 4?
Oh. Okay. Oh, you mean the film adaptation. That was Rocky 4.
All right.
And he's like, I will check you.
I will check you. I will check you.
I will checkmate you. And he did. But somehow Bobby Fischer got out of it.
I love Mondays.
And
I really do.
And became the champion of the world. Bobby Fischer.
Amazing.
Robert. The Wham-O company introduces the hula hoop. Over 100 million are sold.
Oh my gosh, this is an old pilot. The hula hoop. A basic circle of plastic.
Yeah.
Swept the nation in 1958.
Well, I think back then they may have not even been plastic. They could have been like wooden or aluminum, maybe, I don't think they had plastic back then.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think DuPont made it yet?
DuPont?
DuPont.
They make pineapples, don't they?
No, DuPont makes race cars.
The hula hoop, I think most of those 100 million were probably purchased by Hooters. Because every time I go to get some goddamn wings, I got some bitch in my face asking me to hula hoop with her. I say, I came here for some wings.
I've never double hula hooped, have you?
No.
Maybe that's their way of like coming on to you.
Oh, at Hooters for more tips?
I think you could be getting some Hooters strange if you would hula hoop.
Oh, so you think that any time a Hooters waitress approaches you with the hula hoop, she's just genuinely hitting on you?
It's never happened to me. I've been to Hooters tons of time. I actually got a divorce because of Hooters.
Oh, which one?
The second one.
Because of Hooters?
Yeah.
I thought it was because of the fungus and the weight loss.
Oh, and the guy that she fucked?
It was a Hooters waitress?
But before that, no, before that, here's what happened. Do we have time?
We've got all the time in the world. I love Mondays.
I'll give you the quick, right?
All right.
So I went to Hooters one day for lunch with the work guys, and they were having some car wash thing for like Down syndrome or something.
Sure.
You get your car washed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went with my buddies at lunch when I was working. Had my truck washed. Gave them like $10. Good cause.
Sure.
Didn't think anything of it. About 3 days later, my ex-wife says, "Hey, were you at Hooters on Wednesday?" And I was like, "No."
Okay, well, Hooters, just so people know, Hooters is a wing-based restaurant
Right.
with scantily clad women.
That are 90% of the time are not very attractive anyway.
That is very true. Well, it's not a strip club or anything. It's not like
Right.
these girls are grinding on your cock meat. Why would you lie about going to Hooters?
Because I know look at me. I mean, if you look at me, you can see why girls would be
Enamored?
and jealous,
Soaked?
Oh, definitely soaked. And that girl that washed my truck was soaked. Mm-hmm. So I said no, because I knew how she was.
Here we go. Okay.
A guy that she works with at lunch was there by himself, narked me out. Bro code, gone.
What a bastard.
And she hung that over my head for 6 months before she went and fucked another guy named Blake.
What, do you think the guy was just like, hey, just saw your husband down there? Or was he like, hey, I
No, I think he was an older guy. He was a single older guy. His wife had died years ago. He was one of those guys that he had a job just because they didn't want to let him go, kind of thing. And he was like, he probably just said, "Hey, I saw your husband at Hooters." I didn't see him. I did not see him. Otherwise, I would have said, "Hey, don't
cool,
tell
man.
Be cool, man."
Be cool, bro.
I didn't mean to veer off course again.
No, that's fine. I was excited to see this because I like the Wham-O company. I think what a great name that is.
It is a great name.
And they have all these crazy, crappy little toys that are just kind of iconic.
Right. And that that fits what the toys are. It's like Wham-O. It's like, oh,
boom,
boom, in your face.
slap, boom.
In the face.
In the face, indeed. Boy, and speaking of in the face, I'm in 1958.
To be honest with you, you talk about NASA, you talk about hula hoop,
Bobby Fischer.
I'm like I said, it has changed my score.
Why did we choose to watch The Adventures of Superpup?
I'll take care of that. 3 simple criteria. First, it was a one-off pilot that never made it to series. Whether it was aired or not is irrelevant.
Yep.
Number 2, we had to find it on the interwebs. The interwebs is humongous. I mean, Jason.
It's infinite. It's ever expanding like our known universe.
Exactly. And 3, it had to be free because we are poor. We don't have a Patreon page. Nobody donates to the show.
We're beggars, and we cannot be choosers.
I've never been a chooser. I've been a beggar.
I take what I get, and I don't throw a fit.
Amen to that, brother. I don't mean to get religious on you.
No, that's fine. Where can you find the entire episode of The Adventures of Superpup? We can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, or click on one of our classically blue links there, right?
Yes.
Or you can go to YouTube. And you know what to do, Tube. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone I meet on the street says that shit to me. Everyone.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
There's DSJ preparing for that diaper party. I'm so excited.
Dude, we didn't talk about it, but I am super pumped. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, you're a super punt. He had 3 good seasons in the NFL in the late 90s, and
I'm out.
it bought you a Cadillac. Summary of the pilot. Superpup. Secretly, the intrepid reporter Bark Bent of the Daily Bugle must save his friend and co-worker Pamela Poodle from the clutches of the evil Professor Sheepdip. That's a pretty good summary, I guess.
That summarizes what I watched. Barf elimination. Barf elimination?
What's that mean?
No, is that what you said was barf?
I just burped. I don't always know what comes out. I just burp. It's kind of a
This show is built on the back of his back burp.
Thank you. It's like burp Tourette's. I hear you.
I hear you. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else we could ask. I saw the show. You and I have both seen the show.
I saw the show. It opened up my eyes. I saw the show. Life is demanding
show was
without
built on the back of his songs.
understanding. Thank you. That's what we should do from now on. Acknowledge the other person.
Constantly thank people.
Just constantly acknowledge by thanking each other.
Maybe could we bow and say thank you? But hit the mic. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know what else we can ask though from a
summary. I mean, yes. Do I nitpick summaries quite often? Yes.
Thank you.
But I also have to understand that we don't want you don't want to read a paragraph.
No.
You just want to read 2 to 3 sentences.
In this workaday world, do I have time to read a paragraph?
Millennials do not have time to read paragraphs.
Give me the title
or give me death.
Thomas Paine said it once perfectly before they even had the internet. I think it was the day after the internet came out is when he said that. Give me the title or give me death.
Exactly.
Just fucking kill me if you're going to make me read more than a sentence. Interesting facts.
I die, Brute.
That's not it at all. That's fucking ridiculous.
Thank you. Folks, when you're listening, every time you hear us say thank you, take a drink.
That's all right. Interesting. Let's sober up. I mean, we're talking a lot about drinking. You are chugging as I'm speaking, but let's sober up for a second and really focus in on a section affectionately and sometimes terrifying the nation. Interesting facts.
I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, I love your guys' show,"
Right.
But when interesting facts comes on, I start to get like a little edgy. Like I start to tense up,
yeah.
And I'm on guard, avant-garde. Some would say.
Thank you.
Conrad rule is in effect. Jason's gonna go through some facts. They're facts. They're interesting. We don't know. It's not for us to say.
Just like Thomas Paine once said, I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but give me the title or give me death. Interesting facts is just the title of this section. It doesn't mean that these facts are interesting. We had to title this section something. It turned out Interesting facts.
If we would have titled it Dumb Facts, do you think people would fast forward through it? Hell yeah.
Of course. We don't want that. No. We want you to take in everything we're saying, so at the end of the show, you can properly digest and regurgitate a number for this pilot. And this is a big part of that, I think, is understanding these behind-the-scenes things that are set in stone, and no matter what you think or say, it will not change these things.
Tweet us, hashtag Conrad Rule.
Yeah, hashtag Conrad Rule. It'll be trending before we know it. This pilot was filmed in November 1957, 1 week after the final episode of Adventures of Superman from 1952 had wrapped up, and it utilized several of the same sets and the same crew. Fact.
Fact. I mean, fact. Well, we can't change it. We can talk about it for hours. It's not going to change it.
That is one fact. This short film was actually a pilot for a proposed series. It was created in an effort by the network to salvage Adventures of Superman after the death of star George Reeves. The characters were all animal parodies of those from the series starring little people in large masks. The series was never picked up, and this short was never broadcast.
Little people?
Fact.
Question mark.
A couple of them, I think, were. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
The budget of this pilot was between $25,000 and $30,000, half the budget of a 1957 Superman episode.
Okay.
Fact.
Okay. Cheap.
What's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're just coming off of Easter here. Cheap.
Well, there's a liquor store in St. Louis in Missouri area, and I forget what it's called, but they go cheap.
I don't know anything about that. Instead of dubbing in the voices, the actors who provided the voices for the characters were seated off camera reciting the dialogue as it was filmed.
So you're telling me that the people that were on the screen were doing the motions, right, but there was people off screen with microphones saying the lines.
To me, that seems like you're doubling your budget right there. You know, you got to pay the voice actors and you got to pay the people performing it.
I agree.
And all these people were wearing big, heavy masks. So it makes sense that you couldn't hear them if they were talking in there. And so they're sitting off camera. The dog masks were constructed of fiberglass and weighed 2 to 3 pounds. The filmmakers intended to construct puppets of the characters that could articulate dialogue in close-ups, but the budget didn't allow for it, though they planned to make the puppets if the pilot was picked up as a series.
This show is built on the back of his back burps.
I don't feel good.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Superpup's secret identity, Bark Bent, works for the Daily Bugle, not the Daily Planet.
The Bugle. The Bugle. That's paying an homage to
I hear you.
My man, Howard Kremer.
Hashtag Who Charted. The Daily Bugle, not the Daily Planet, as associated with Superman / Clark Kent. The name of the paper where Peter Parker would work several years later when Spider-Man appeared in rival Marvel Comics. I think it's just a coincidence, though, that they were both called the Daily Bugle.
You think so? Because I found that kind of interesting while I was watching. I was like, wait a minute, why does that sound familiar? I'm like, Superman, Spider-Man.
DC, Marvel,
Well,
right?
Here's the thing. Isn't that the whole premise of Spider-Man is that he works at the newspaper and then goes and fights crime? Superman was not like that. Did Superman work at a newspaper too?
Yeah, he did. He worked at the Daily Planet. He was a reporter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty similar parallels there for sure. Oh. Interesting facts over. That's it. I mean, you know what? I gotta say, there's like 6 full-figured facts in there.
I think a couple weeks ago we watched a pilot and like you had like 2 facts.
Yeah.
And this one was 70 years old.
Lush.
And lush.
Full.
Bosoms.
Right. Twitter responses. All dead. Let's do a promo for one of my favorite shows, the Let's Try This podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Steph from Let's Try This, your new favorite podcast. My co-host Kevin and I don't always have a lot in common, but we do happen to be married to each other, and we're not afraid to get a little passive-aggressive.
That's just what I think.
Are you serious?
Well, okay, Mrs. Perfect.
Every week we discuss stuff like professional wrestling, reality TV, pop culture, and life as newlyweds, but that's just the beginning. You can always expect us to try new things, hence the name. So buckle up and join us every Thursday for some fun and maybe even some fights on the Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network at fcfnetwork.com and everywhere you find podcasts. Let's try this because you just might like it.
There's 2 promos for them, right?
Right.
Kevin wraps up his by saying, let's try this because why not, I think.
Sure.
I think I like the other one better. Let's try this because you might just like it. I think that's a great tagline.
It's a great show.
Oh, it's a great show, too, absolutely.
It's been getting a lot of play. Promo has been getting a lot of play on all the shows on FCF Network. Low Blow Podcast talked about it.
Yeah.
IBWIP has talked about it. Drunken Lullabies has had people on it from that show.
Yeah.
We've played it almost 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
Uh-oh.
Great show. I enjoy it. When I first read the email that said, "Hey, we're interested," I listened to it. I was instantly, it was nighttime, but I had a boner.
Sure.
And not because I find Kevin attractive. That's beside.
That's my job.
Right. But you know what I think about? Let's try this, I guess.
What's that?
I feel like I tried to really get in with Kevin. Tried to be friends with him. Right? Tried to be buds.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like it's just a one-sided thing. Him and Dustin are like lovers now.
The mics are on right now.
Oh, my bad. Anyway, cut that.
He's got love for the entire network.
He's got nothing but love for you, baby. But I'm just wondering.
For you.
I love the show.
Yeah.
I listened to an episode a couple weeks ago, and poor Stephanie. She had a story about her hair getting cut, and Kevin just cut her off. I wanted to hear that story.
Yeah,
I tweeted him.
I saw that. Yeah.
Great show.
Check out the Let's Try
folks.
This podcast. Check out Kevin and Dustin's budding relationship and Blake in the corner crying the fucking blues.
You know what? And to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think Kevin is even 3 years younger than Dustin's girlfriend.
Right.
So I mean, Dustin's got to be salivating at this
Dustin
point.
loves him young. And who could blame him? Right?
I can't.
Hey, fresh meat. Am I right? Great guys, Kevin and Steph. Awesome show. Check them out every Thursday on the FCF Network. Let's Try This podcast. Now let's try and talk about the pilot here of The Adventures of Superpup. Begins with the classic announcer, The Adventures of Superpup.
Very good.
I love that stuff. I love those classic announcing. You got pictures of jets and rockets, kind of briefly talking about the power of Superpup.
Faster than the fastest jet.
How fast do you think the fastest jet is?
3 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think so.
More powerful than the most powerful rocket.
And what do you think? How powerful is that? About 3 miles an hour?
About what?
About 3 miles an hour?
Yeah.
So everyone sees you?
Exactly. Right off the bat, it's vintage. I'm ready to go. Then, like you said, the announcer, I'm all in it to win it.
So that's the tone, baby.
Yeah.
Back then...
My dog had to pee. I was like, fuck you, dog.
Yeah, you're going to have to hold it, lady. Puppet Mouse is saying... It kind of narrates the show. It's like, get ready for some adventures of Superpup.
Yeah, he comes up out of like the desk of Bark Bent. He comes out of his...
He lives in his desk.
Yeah, and he's like the narrator of this show.
He keeps it moving, kind of segues between scenes, kind of let you know. Meanwhile, over here, this guy's doing...
This show is built on the back of his
Holy
back
crap.
burps.
Merciful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you got the office of Bark Bent. There's an intercom kind of going nuts. I like that the intercom was moving around. It seemed very cartoonish.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of cartoonish. It reminds me of like the early days of the Bozo Show. It really does.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I could look and see when Bozo Show started, but it just has that feel to it, that live action feel.
Live action that feels cartoonish. There's something very novel about that. I did like it very much. The intercom's going nuts. The mouse is in the drawer. And
The mouse is in the drawer. The mouse is in my drawer. How was I say? Come, girl, look at my mouse in my drawer.
The Bark Bent is summoned to the chief's office. His name is Terry Bite, which almost sounds like terabyte, which they didn't have back then.
No, they didn't at all.
The chief seems angry because I think that's his general demeanor. The chief is a tiny little bulldog-looking guy. I think he was one of the midgets with the mask on. He's a tiny, and he always gets on top of his desk, and he's, pun intended, is always barking at people.
And I think now that you mentioned it, it would be a little person, quote unquote, because even standing on the desk, he was still in the shot.
Absolutely. Standing on the desk, he's yelling at everyone. He seems angry, but he's actually happy and congratulating, what was it, Pamela Poodle and Bark Bent on some of their most recent work working with Superpup to apprehend the evil Professor Sheepdip, which is a weird name.
It's very weird.
Sheepdip.
I would say that during this pilot, first of all, not the best names for everybody. Second of all, every time they reference a character in the show, they say their full name. They're like Professor Sheepdip.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's in an effort to just drive it home or the cartoonish factor of the show. I'm not sure, but Professor Sheepdip is in jail. And he's got a saw. How he got his hands on a full saw, I have no idea, but he's sawing the metal bars in jail, trying to free himself. Meanwhile, you got a droopy-looking police dog kind of making a paper plane, or he's making paper people. I would have thought, you're a dog, why don't you make paper dogs? You know what I mean? You know what I mean when I say paper dogs?
That would make more sense.
What is a person? It looked like a person. How would that dog know what is a person in a world of walking, talking animals?
Yeah, I think it's just easy to cut out.
Okay.
It's more easier than a dog to cut out.
Fair enough. From the scene before, when Pamela Poodle was in there, I don't know what's going on.
Meta milk boner, right?
Under Pamela Poodle's mask. But she has got a rockin' body.
She's got a rockin' body, and later on you see her legs, and they're super fly. But she has a sexy neck, too.
Is this a canine bump?
I've already given it a 1958 bump. I can't give it.
Okay, that's fair. You're stern but fair.
The cop is a basset hound.
Okay, that's the droopy dog. I'm happy. Sheepdip escapes with the help of a wolf, some kind of wolf dog, and the police dog discovers the escape, and the criminals drive away.
Okay. And so the sheepdog thing, or whatever, the
Sheepdip?
Not sheepdip, but the wolf.
Yeah.
He's played as a real bumbling idiot. That's his shtick.
These are the only two criminals in the show. You got Sheepdip, who's escaping.
'Cause I'm a criminal. Thank you, Eminem.
And there's and then you got this other dog who's a real idiot, but he looks like a vicious wolf.
Oh yeah,
doesn't he? He has sharp teeth and
I thought he was going to
salivating
be
tongue.
in huff and puff and blow the house down.
Right.
Yeah, the car chase. You said it was funny because the car chase. I first want to say at this point everything is in color.
Yeah, and that changes, but yes, it's in color. It's the sound is a little odd, but visually it's fairly delightful.
There's a lot of hunter greens and a lot of maroon colors, but it's in color. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
So then they have this car chase, which is basically all this footage of this car going away. It's in the desert. There's nothing around it. There's no buildings. There's
nothing.
Nothing.
And you think Bark Bent is working for the Daily Bugle. He's probably in
the Bugle. I used to be able to whistle when I had teeth.
Why can't? Oh, yeah. But you think yes, they're in a high rise, they're in a skyscraper in a city. This is where all the action is.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe because every scene that you see of a car driving, it's out way in the desert with nothing around.
Right.
So the police give chase, and before he does that, he fires a cannon at them.
Yeah, it was weird. He came out with like this little bitty cannon and shot it at the air, and like I said, there's a big building, or there is a jail behind him. He shoots this little bitty cannon.
Cuts to the criminals.
They're in the desert. Makes a big explosion right behind him.
Almost hits him. Misses. He jumps in his paddy wagon. Gives chase. Again, you see nothing but desert out there. They park in the desert, and then they go to a sign, and they move the sign that says, they went that-a-way.
Right.
And so it's meant kind of like, when Bugs Bunny would take a sign and he would spin it,
Sure.
right? And it would really confuse Elmer Fudd. It's the same principle. So the police pull up, he sees the sign, and he follows the sign, so he loses them.
And the whole time, the cop, the basset hound, he's ringing this bell on his police truck or whatever.
Yeah, the old siren.
And if you look at it, he's pulling on this rope that's not connected to anything. It's actually just a piece of rope wrapped around the rearview mirror.
That's all it is. That's all they had the budget for. That's what $25,000 to $30,000 will get you. So he loses them, and the mouse reappears to segue back into like Bark Bent, the poodle, Terry Bite, and then the police. They're all in the office at the chief's office, Terry Bite, and they're all talking about what happened. They're kind of I don't know why the police are going to the newspaper to alert them.
Right.
But that's exactly what happened.
That's how important the printed word was back then.
Maybe so to put that in context. Next scene is Professor Sheepdip. He's in his lab cooking up some like explosive chemical. He puts on a paper airplane that he made. He throws it out the window. It looks like a goddamn nuclear test.
It's
out
like
there.
I wrote Professor Sheepdip in lab making liquid. He dips a paper airplane into an atomic bomb. I mean, the footage is like an atomic bomb.
That's exactly right. And he's doing it because he says he wants revenge. for what exactly? Maybe it was said, but the audio quality at this point is questionable.
I think he was probably put in jail for maybe statutory rape.
If I had to guess, yeah. I mean,
he looks like a statutory raper.
And it's tough too because you look at a dog and you say this dog is 1 year old, and you say, was it 1 or 7? And so I think there's a lot of accidental statutory rape when it comes to animals.
Hashtag animal rape.
He gives the chemical to the wolf. What was that wolf's name? Do you ever get the name?
I never got the name from the guy.
They gives it to the wolf. He says, "Here, take this to the Daily Bugle."
Yeah,
blow it up.
Yeah, he fills up this bottle. He's basically making a bottle bomb.
Yeah.
And as he's pouring it into this bottle, he's using like a little, what do you call that, a siphon or
like a little funnel or something.
Yeah, he's spilling it everywhere. And this is where I realized these actors can barely see out of these fucking huge helmets.
So he's pouring it into like a 2 liter.
Everybody's really clumsy.
It is, yeah. It's kind of blocky and clumsy. He says, "Take this chemical, get in this clock for some reason, a clock, and then you light the fuse once you get in the bugle, and you'll blow it up."
Right.
And the guy's like, "All right, I'll do exactly that."
But you'll blow it up like an atomic bomb. I mean, like the footage they just showed.
He's going to level it.
That wolf is dead, right?
This wolf is being sent on a suicide mission,
like
right?
Al Qaeda.
Yeah, like a kamikaze Al Qaeda fighter. The clock enters the bugle. He like walks all the way from the desert, apparently, all the way to the city, and he takes the elevator up, and there's a clock walking around. No one questions anything. He goes right into the office. The police is there.
Yeah, he just walks right by it, and then the head of the Daily Bugle, right?
Right.
He like doesn't even notice it, and then he like has a conversation with it. And another thing I noticed, none of these animals their mouths don't move and they don't blink.
Right.
Which right here, right after everybody's super clumsy, and after they make the bottle, they cut back to Bark Bent. It's a long scene, not a long scene, but it's about 30 seconds with Bark Bent at his desk, and he doesn't blink one time. It freaks me out.
I think there is probably a real phobia around costume characters, and not just their inability to blink, but them themselves. I'm
Right.
sure not blinking does not help that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you got the clock walking in there, and the chief says, "Hey, do you have the time?" And he adjusts the clock, and then he says, "Do you have a light?"
Yeah, do you have a match?
And he does, and he lights the bomb for him, closes the clock back up, and the wolf's waiting for it to explode. And then the chief all of a sudden thinks, "Hold on a second, I just light a bomb?"
I just gave a clock a match. Wait a minute, something's going on here. So he gets a hold of and this right here is where it turns black and white.
Yep, this is where it goes black.
It
and
was
white.
weird. I was watching this in colors, like I'm into it, I'm digging it.
Yeah.
And then
turns to black and white. I don't know what happened. The chief helps light the bomb. Once he's done, he realizes what's happening. He calls Bark Bent for help. I don't know why he calls him, but instead of Bark Bent showing up, Superpup shows up, and he throws everything out of Terry Bite's office, and he's like, "No, take the bomb. It's in the clock."
Right. So then all of a sudden, he takes the clock and he just takes it in the air and he's just flying away with it. He doesn't know when that bomb's going off. He doesn't know anything about.
Just takes it right out the window and starts flying.
He looks danger in the face and says, "Fuck you." I'm not even nervous about it.
He really does. It's showing him fly through the air, greatest of ease. And then he's also showing, it's cutting back and forth, and like Professor Sheepdip is like cooking up some more stuff.
Yeah, sure. More bombs.
I'm not really sure what he's doing, but he's back there. And then mid-flight, the wolf pops out of the clock. He says, "Hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Please take me home."
He's like, "What's your address?"
Yeah.
And he gives Superpup his address. He goes and he finally gets to where it is, and he drops the clock down on the ground. Obviously, Professor Plum is there, and it blows up. But it's not like it's a lot more quantity of bomb liquid in this,
much smaller results
with much smaller results. So much to the fact that they just get up. They're a little dazed and confused.
I think they could have been hit by I think they could have been hit by an atomic bomb, and they would have still been okay. This is not the kind of show where you have parts of criminals, hanging around and dead folk. This is everyone lives all the time.
Sure.
Superpup, kind of solving that situation. He goes back to the Bugle, and everyone's saying, "Where is Bark Bent? I can't find Bark Bent. He's never around when we need him." And Superpup then he lands into the chief's office, which may be the only window in the entire building.
It wasn't the chief's name Terry Bitts?
Terry Bite, I think.
Terry Bite.
Yeah. He sneaks into the chief's office, and without being seen, he gets out of there, changes his clothes, and he goes back to see the chief. And that Terry the chief is pissed that he can never find Bark Bent when he needs him.
Right.
So where you been?
And I know how he feels. There's a lot of times where I'm looking for DSJ and I can't find him. Yeah. I'm like, I need this circuit breaker, air blown.
Someone puked in the fuselage.
Right, exactly. And it's frustrating.
It is. Sheepdip calls then, the professor, he lives through this explosion, then he calls the hot poodle lady, Pamela. Poodle. He says, hey, we're having this kind of swanky tea party situation.
He has this British queen accent.
Right.
And says, yeah, we're having this tea party. Why don't you come and, cover it?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, I got nothing else to do. I'm just a puppy.
Yeah. She goes around and see if Bark Bent's there. He's not there. She kind of says to the mouse, hey, mouse, this is where I'm going. If you see him, let him know. And then she goes out there all by herself to the barren desert.
Yeah. Again, it's film footage of a poodle head in a car in the middle of the desert. And she stops, like, oh, here's the house, pulls up, gets out of the car, still in the desert, and right when they go to switch cameras, all of a sudden there's a house there.
Pardon me. She's immediately captured by the wolf character, and this is the one of like two different times that the criminals just start to like giggle insanely. Just and
it goes on for too long.
It really does.
It does go. It's creepy. It goes on for so long. She gets kidnapped, and obviously this is a job for Superpup.
That's right. Bark Bent returns to his office, and the mouse tells him where Poodle was going, and he recognizes the address or something.
That's the address that the wolf gave him that he dropped the clock off of. And, he realizes, oh my gosh, I got to go save Pamela Poodle.
Dun, 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 dun.
And cut back to Pamela Poodle. She's tied to a rocket. Yeah, a little S&M there.
It looks like a big comical cartoon rocket, too,
Oh, yeah, it's like made of cardboard. It's just like, oh, there's a triangle on the top. Oh, there's a long cylinder. Oh, there's a piece of wood sticking out of it. Oh, there's a piece of...
long fuse. Yeah. Superpup closes in, and then Sheepdip, I think it's sheep shit. Sheep shit lights the fuse, and then he flees the scene in a different car than he was driving around earlier.
Right, and then cuts to the mouse narrator, and he explains, because they're like, people are going to recognize this is a different car. Yeah. And he's like, you want to know why they're in a different car? Because it was a rough patch of road, and they didn't want to ruin it. No, that's not why.
Is that why at all?
Not why at all.
How stupid are we, huh? Superpup frees Pamela Poodle, and the rocket takes off, and as it's coming down, it's about ready to hit, fleeing Sheepdip and the wolf, and they are giggling there too. They're giggling into delirium.
They got away.
Yeah, they
can't away again.
And then they see the impending rocket, and they try to outrun it, but alas, fantastical footage. This is great footage of them going off a cliff like their car.
Oh yeah. It was that classic, like, oh, here's a car. We'll just throw it over the side and film it, and it explode.
That's what use it as stock footage for every other movie.
Every 70s movie, too. I think Cannonball Run probably used it 4 or 5 times, too. But the funny thing about it is they go over the side. They go down this huge cliff, and then they're standing up.
Yeah, they're fine. They're totally fine. The police are down there. Superpup shows up there. For some reason, he brought the lady. You think he had a couple criminals walking around. I probably wouldn't have her around, but everyone's there. The police take the criminals away in the paddy wagon. Superpup takes to the skies. The announcer, that classic announcer, concludes. End of pilot.
End of show.
End of pilot. Beginning of turbulence.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Superpup. Based off of Superman, the parallels are there. They're in your face. They're on purpose for you to recognize. A property, an established property like Superman that many people love. Why didn't this one work?
To me, this is not made for this is made for the younger kids. This is like the younger kids. This is like the Muppet Babies of Superman.
Right. The Muppet Show, I mean, you'd have adult celebrities.
Adult.
Like Tito Santana, or not Tito Santana, Tito Puente. I don't know, people on the Muppet Show.
Okay.
People we wouldn't know today necessarily. And
John Denver.
John, yeah, absolutely. Great example. But yes, the Muppet Babies was the children's version of that. This is the children's version of Superman.
Right. They're not going to know the difference that their mouths don't move or they don't blink, that they're actors with big ceramic things on their head, fiberglass things on their head. Why it didn't work? Well, I really wish you would have found something on the internet to find out why that it was half color and half, like they got tired of restoring it.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no,
I wish I knew. I'm sorry. There is some reviews later that talk about how maybe it didn't work because it was too close to the time of George Reeves' death, the man who played actual Superman on TV.
It could be, but again, you're going for a younger crowd who really probably doesn't know that he.
They don't understand.
Yeah,
that.
they don't understand.
I don't know. What would you do to improve it? Was there anything there that you like this could be better?
Well, I have to take myself back to 1958. I would say, the masks could be better or something like that. But in 1958, that's probably as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
I can't really find a lot of turbulence. It's a kid's version of Superman.
Plain
and simple.
That's really where it is. And it's like so many of the pilots. Where would it go if it survived week after week? Superpup is out there with a new villain.
Sure.
Or maybe Professor Sheepdip is at it again.
Yeah.
Right? On to the next adventure. Meanwhile, you got a budding relationship with Pamela Poodle. You got, his own turbulence with the boss, right?
Right.
A lot of places that could go. So now I have to wonder, what do other people have to say about the adventures of Superpup?
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Critic reviews. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a Kryptonian canine. Written by KJB from IGN.com. He says, to say that this thing is bizarre would be a gross understatement. The sight of a guy in a dog suit that is also wearing a Superman suit is something that will completely warp your view of reality. Even though it's obvious the pilot was aimed at kids, some of the gags were definitely aimed at the parents, especially naming the villain Professor Sheepdip. I don't get that. Professor Sheepdip is not something when I hear that, I'm not thinking, oh, this means something else. Maybe I'm too young to know what that means. But James Lance from Superman homepage says the Adventures of Superpup is pure kiddie entertainment, and therefore has a different feeling to it that may disappoint fans of George Reeves and company. The darn mouse is a bit irritating at times, but I'm a child at heart. I guess this helped me enjoy Superpup and Friends more than I had expected to. So those are some of the critics. Those are some of the people out there, on regular websites that review things and are perhaps notable. Here are some just common viewer reviews. This pilot was rightly put to sleep. 2 out of 10 scars. This is from K.N. Wilson from the Isle of Shepley, or Sheepy rather, from the United Kingdom.
Sheepdip.
What does that mean? What does Sheepdip mean?
It was a sheepdog. I know that it was a sheepdog because they have long white curly hair that's just long. The dip part, maybe it was stupid. I don't know.
This travesty has only come to the public arena because of its release as part of the Ultimate Superman collection. After watching it, it comes as no surprise as to why it has been hidden away for so long. The sheer awfulness of this lousy pilot has to be seen to be believed. Superpup is aided by an annoying hand puppet that provides expository dialogue. In one instance, the puppet is even employed to cover over the huge continuity error of the car.
Yeah.
This character is so annoying, and one would wish arthritis on the person operating it.
Jeez.
Thankfully, Superpup was neutered and didn't beget a full series.
You know what? That reviewer did not put themselves in the year of 1958. I'll tell you that right now.
They need to listen to Couch Pilots. Worst pilot generates plenty of laughs. 1 out of 10 scars. Oh, this is odd. We were talking about Stanley Kubrick earlier. This is from Kubrick 2899 from Concord, North Carolina. This might be a relative of someone who helped fake the moon landing.
Wow. Blowing my mind right now.
You know what? I always say we don't have to tie up all loose ends. I think we're doing exactly that today.
Yeah. Everything is going to be nice and tight like a little kid's tennis shoes on the first day of school.
The Adventures of Superpup. From the title, one can tell this is going to be absolute rubbish, but I watched nearly everything else contained in Superman, the Ultimate Collector's Edition DVD boxes, so I figured I'd give it a shot. My verdict, bomb out of 5 stars, or 1 out of 10 here. This is the absolute worst pilot episode I've ever seen in my entire life. This is a disgrace to the Superman legacy. However, it does make its viewer laugh quite heartily. I can't remember the last time I watched something so bad that it made me laugh so hard. One really has to see this in order to truly appreciate it. I can understand why it wasn't chosen to become a full series. It had to be intended for an audience of children, but I don't think that even children would have been amused. Well, I was amused. It was just that horrible. It really is quite comical to see people running around in big dog costumes trying to save the world. Anyway, I'll leave The Adventures of Superpup alone now. In fact, I might even go watch it again. So he's going to watch it again. He gives it a 1 out of 10? That doesn't make any sense.
He's just trying to be a dick.
IMDb. What do you think the score was?
7.2.
3.6. Exactly one half of what you said. From 79 reviews.
Gosh.
That's it. That's what the people are saying around the world. Not a lot of love for this. I think the fact that it's associated with Superman in any way gives it just a little bit to keep its head above water. Beyond that, people are not liking this.
But do you think maybe that because it's associated with Superman, everybody's all nitpicky and nerdy about it, and like it's got to be perfect because I carry on the Superman tradition?
Could be.
Keanu Reeves can't even walk anymore.
Keanu Reeves.
It's like that.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I loved
welcome
it.
to FCF Airport.
Thank you.
Local time is 11:11, and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
An unbelievable amount of information. You just heard a tsunami of facts,
right?
Of ongoings, plot lines, time traveling. Our ages, I think, were even there at one point.
Sure.
So much information, and just like a clam or an oyster takes a little bit of dirt in there.
Make a pearl.
And we're about to make a pearl. The pearl in the form of a scale 1 to 7 based on the wings scale that we've put forth. 1 being the worst you can get, Roy Biggins. 7, Brian Hackett. These are characters from the classic television show Wings.
Jesus.
That Mike snuck up on you.
God.
Thank you. Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn to you. How do you rate The Adventures of Superpup?
I had a number in my head when we started this, and then you gave me those interesting facts.
Right.
And I told you that once I put my mind into 1958, it was going to change my score. I'm giving this a 5.
I give it a 5 too.
Thank you.
I like this.
It was fun.
It was fun.
I knew it was for kids. I knew it was, a spin-off for a younger version.
Yeah.
I knew it was 1958 and they don't have great special effects.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I had a
Take
good
it
time.
for what it is, right? There was a lot of fun.
The people that were reviewing that, they're not Couch Pilots listeners because they're way overly critical. When one person said, worst pilot ever, no it's not the Tribe.
Well, yeah. Why don't you take a minute, sir, and watch the Crystal Cube?
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yes, this is fun. This is enjoyable. It's silly. It's goofy. This is almost like a hipster show now. It could achieve cult status where you're watching it ironically to see this shitty cut footage of cars driving in the middle of nowhere when they're supposed to be in a freaking city.
Right.
This is silly and it's fun.
It's very fun. I had a good time with this.
Yeah, so did I. This should be a series. Back then I think there was a 2,100 episodes per season practically on a show. Why don't you pump out 20 of these a year? Kids would love it.
I looked up Bozo, the Bozo Show, and it started in 1960, and it really wasn't that far off, in regards.
That was right around the same time.
I have praise for this show.
Yeah, well, did it? You said it kind of reminded you of the Bozo Show.
Yeah,
right?
just in the fact that it was kind of clumsy, the big masks,
right?
It was in like the stock footage of weird stuff. It just seemed very Bozo showy to me, and I enjoyed it.
There's something novel about seeing something from the 50s, but we put our minds back in that frame because I didn't want the fact that we had to think about it in terms of the 50s be a factor in my score. I wanted to accept it as it was, and it was fun.
It was fun.
So I give it a 5. I feel very confident in that score.
Me too. One of the better ones we watched in a while.
For sure.
In a while.
So let's close the book now on the Adventures of Superpup, never to be mentioned again.
Ever.
But join us next time, won't you, when we watch the pilot episode of super nerds. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Centers around a geeky comic book fan who manages his own comic book store, with his best friend who hangs around the place all day. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links. Or go to YouTube, and you know what to do, Tube.
You know what to do. You know what to do. That's not right.
What's that? It's not on YouTube?
No.
Or go to Side Splitter, and you know what to and chill. You can go to Side Splitter. Is that more Dave Matthews?
I'm digging Dave Matthews tonight.
Well, he did have a song called Gravedigger, right?
Did he?
Yeah, Gravedigger, bury me so I can still feel the rain, something about that. It could be Side Splitter.
If you like Dave Matthews, you like sucking penis. Oh my God. I have never heard anything more horrible in my life.
What about What Would You Say?
What? Well, yeah, sorry. If I pull my pants down, I should lick my taint.
I'm not sure those are the lyrics. Oh, boy. CouchPilotsPodcast@gmail.com.
That's how you get a hold of us. That's how you email us.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've had so much fun. I'm sorry. I got a checklist I'm still going over. This is your part. You bring it down. I usually go through the checklist.
That's fine. You just looked. I was looking at you, and I feel like you're about ready to say something, but you just kind of
that happened earlier.
Dazed off there.
That happened earlier.
CouchPilotPodcast.com. That's our website. Go to CouchPilotspodcast.com. Everything associated with the show is right there. You can listen to the episodes if you want. You can see all of our different social media
links,
platforms.
Yep.
Click on them. Go to Facebook, Couch Pilots Podcast. Like us there. Follow us. Drop us a line
at CouchPilotspodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to go to your email browser. You can just leave. You can send us an email from there.
It does all the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah, everything.
Twitter, Couch Pilots Pod. I reach out to the stars. In this case, they were all dead.
Right.
But sometimes even the dead ones will reach back, and you can hear about that first. Instagram, Couch_Pilots or _podcast rather. All the great photos associated with the show. Right. You put up some great artwork on there.
Thank you. I take pride in my show art.
Good.
Short.
Your shirt. I take huge shits and then take a picture of it.
I take pride in all my shots.
910 Pilots 1. We mentioned it earlier. Tyler called in. He got a whopping 2 million frequent flyer points. And of course, for those the uninitiated, frequent flyer points is anytime you listen to a show. If you listen more than once, you are automatically enrolled in the frequent flyer program. And every time you download, every time you stream, anytime you share, retweet, like something, any involvement with the show whatsoever, even you physically telling a friend, we know.
Right. We know these things. The Pachinko machine
knows all.
Knows all.
That's right.
And you get points for it. It's that easy. What work are you doing? Are you having to sweat? No. Are you having to lift something heavy? No. You have to move your mouth, which you do all the time.
Yeah, you do that, or you just take your phone and go boop boop boop, and it's done.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. This is a pet peeve I have. Right. On Facebook, it's the same movement of your body to press like or press share.
Share it.
Press share.
Like it and then share it. What's it going to take? It's going to burn a half a calorie. Almost nothing.
Supposedly, when you eat celery, you burn more calories than the celery
to digest it. Yeah. And so it's actually, you're killing if you're on a celery-based diet, you'll be dead within the month.
But you'd be thinner.
You'll look great.
Great.
You'll leave a great corpse. But yes, call 910 Pilots 1. That's 910-745-6871. You're going to rack up frequent flyer points. You're going to get assigned aviator glasses. You're going to get surprise prizes. Anything from the vault of gifts and awards that we have, they're coming to you.
I've got a whole closet full of stuff.
It's incredible. Go to FCFnetwork.com. We're Couch Pilots, but we're part of something greater. FCF Network, the Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network, where it houses great shows like Drunken Lullabies, IBWIP, which is coming to a close in just a few weeks now. And then it'll be rebirthed like a phoenix from the ashes.
Oh yeah, Phoenix.
As Broken Funny Bone podcast.
It's gonna be great. And by the way, Low Blow podcast. I'd be careful talking shit. Just to let you know, I'd be careful talking
about
shit.
being the oldest show on the network. I heard you talk about that.
You can be the oldest doesn't mean you're the best.
Yeah, you can have that mantle if you want. We're sick of it.
Just because Dave is good looking and would suck my dick does not mean you guys are the best.
And just because I would blow Dave in a New York minute doesn't mean that they're the best. Okay,
for sure.
Anything else, Captain Ruster, you'd like to say to our frequent flyers before we wrap it up today?
No, I don't like to drag things along, but social media is really the only way we have to promote this show. We need your help.
It helps us grow.
All that contact information, like blah, 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 blah. Seriously, we need your help to promote the show. We want to be amazing, and we can't be amazing without you. Call that dial-in number, because to be honest with you, that's the only fun part of my life right now.
It is a lot of fun to get those messages. And honestly, if you do like the show, help spread the word. It really does help us. So we honestly do appreciate it.
Yeah, if you listen to iTunes, if you're one of those Apple people, those iPhone people, give us a rating of 5 stars.
Oh, for sure.
Leave them.
It all
That'd
helps.
be great. It helps us get, supposedly there's some kind of directory, some algorithm. It would help.
I don't know what it
Every
is.
little bit helps.
It sure does.
But I
There's nothing you want to say, though?
No, I'm sorry.
Beyond that? I'd like to say that this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
We love you very much in a sexual way.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.